And you know what? The gym scene in Heated Rivalry, actually Shane was the one provoking it. So this is the part 2 of telling the scenes you might have missed in the show Heated Rivalry. Well, we weren't shown those scenes. I learned them from the book, and I believe you need to know them because it complements the story. So, Revelation 2, the gym scene. 6 months later, after their first meeting in Regina, which my previous video, they met in Los Angeles. It's their second meeting. The NHL draft had happened, and they met afterward in the gym. Yeah. So that day, Shane felt angry at Ilya. Ilya had won gold medal at the World Juniors, if you remember, and he also had been drafted first. Also, we got to know that after that game in Regina, Shane had been a little obsessed with Ilya. He said it himself. Yeah, we can read his mind, right? He kept reading about him, studying him, and he saw so many similarities between them career-wise. Both were team captains, both had led their teams to championships that season. The only difference, Shane had a silver medal at home and Rozanov had gold. And now, at the draft, Shane came in second place again. After Alive always coming first, Shane is triggered by Ilya and realizing that rival teams had drafted them, he knew they would be rivals forever. And do you remember those looks they were sharing during the party? They're not in the book. No. But here is a moment that is not in the show. Some very hot thoughts started to form in Shane's head about Ilya. Seeing Rozanov in person, 6 months later, Shane starts noticing he's very manly. So they are both 18 at this point, but Rozanov just stands out. He looks like a JQ model, according to Shane. Yeah, Shane can't help but he feels himself like a kid compared to Rozanov. That night, Shane couldn't calm down, couldn't sleep, so he went to the gym, as we know, right? Unlike in the show, here's its treadmills. Shane hops on one, no music, just losing himself in the noise of the machine. Someone comes in, Rozanov, and Rozanov gives him like a quick nod. So they kind of greeted each other, well, a little bit, and he starts running alongside Shane. Shane tries to ignore him, nothing weird, but he can't stop thinking about it, and we read his thoughts. And then it turns into a sweet, silent game. Rozanov increases the speed on his treadmill without glancing at Shane. Shane, being competitive, matches it just a little faster. Within a minute, Rozanov does the same. Shane glances over and sees a slight smirk on Rozanov's lips. Shane shakes his head, fights his own smile, cranks up the speed. They keep going like this, silent battle, pushing each other until they are at their limits. Shane's done, but keeps running. He doesn't want to lose. He thinks, come on, Rozanov smoked. How come he's not done yet? But again, Rozanov wins, and they are both exhausted and sit down. Not like in the show facing each other. Here, Rozanov is perpendicular, so his feet almost touching Shane's ankle. And that's when Shane, like in the show, can't help staring. He notices again how masculine Rozanov is compared to him. So yeah, I think this is when Shane realizes his type, like taller, stronger, masculine guys. After almost the same conversation, Shane couldn't stop staring at Rozanov's red and wet lips and his throat while he was swallowing the water. Yeah, we all figured that Shane already had a crush. Their fingertips touched briefly while passing the bottle, and Shane held the bottle away from his lips, Rozanov watching him, and that's when Shane felt it. Everything inside him was buzzing and on edge, like he was about to jump out of a plane. So at that moment, Shane wanted something. He couldn't even name it. And after that, Shane starts thinking about Rozanov in a clearly sexual way. Yeah. So when Shane got to his room, he noticed he was very excited in one place, which he noticed, and he went to the shower, and in the shower he was trying to focus on the girls he had been with. The next day he tried to rationalize it. He told himself that, it was probably just adrenaline from the gym, not Rozanov. And that's when Shane, ignoring his true feeling part, kicked in. Conceal, don't feel. It wasn't like, oh great, I felt something for him, I should explore it. No, he pushed it down. What about Rozanov? What was he thinking at that moment? I'll tell you. He wanted to pin Shane down right there and then and kiss him and not let him go. We get to read his perspective of that scene. Unlike Shane, he doesn't overthink it. For him, it was just impulse. I want. And he thinks that Shane could answer to his kiss. What's really interesting, when they met again 6 months later, and after dozens of women, Rozanov still has the same desire. There was one more thing that changed in Shane after that gym scene. He started noticing other men. As if that impulse with Ilya had awakened a part of his true sexuality. At the same time, he also did some sex stuff with girls, trying really hard not to imagine Rozanov in their place. Ilya is falling for Shane too, and it starts almost immediately after that first gym meeting. There was a moment after the game that I just have to tell you the thoughts of Ilya at that moment. Is, oh my god, so important. So on the ice, in the lineup, shaking hands at the end of the game, Hollander looks into Ilya's eyes. It's only for a second, but for Ilya, it feels like everything around them freezes. The noise disappears, like the world goes quiet. That look and the brief squeeze of hands, it says so many things. So, quote, I know we were supposed to stand alone at the top, but we will always be there together. We will keep climbing until no one else can reach us, but we will always be together. Ilya feels that soon the real battle between him and Shane Hollander would begin, and he couldn't wait. Unfortunately, I can't retell the whole book, so let's move to another very important scene, shower scene, and their first intimacy. So, Revelation 3. Ilya didn't ask anyone to invite Shane for a photo shoot. Yeah, Shane had signed an endorsement deal with a major hockey equipment company, and later found out that the same company had also signed Rozanov. That's why they ended up together at the photo shoot. Did Ilya ask about that? Book doesn't say it, so well, we can build on it that maybe. But I think such a big company, if they signed up Shane already, yeah, of course he's included in the photo shoot, but he knows, maybe there was more to it. Nevertheless, during the photo shoot, they kept looking into each other's eyes intensely, and Shane was already obsessed with how manly Rozanov was and how handsome. He was like literally looking at him and thinking that he looked stunning. So the shower scene was a little different. Shane was in the shower first, and when Ilya joined him, Shane couldn't take his eyes off him. He was staring, and yeah, he got visibly aroused. Ilya noticed, but he wasn't aggressive about it at all. Instead, he was teasing Shane. Rozanov just watched him, curious, maybe even enjoying the fact he knew he was having on Shane. It wasn't Rozanov who started things in the shower, but it definitely made him interested, and he got excited too. Shane suddenly felt like he needed to get out of there. It got intense. Rozanov asked, what were you thinking about? And Shane, to my surprise, honestly blurted out, you. Rozanov continued, you want to touch me, Hollander? Shane, honestly, in his head, he knew exactly what he wanted. He wanted to watch Rozanov doing the thing, but he said, not here, someone could come in. Rozanov just said, okay, and he left. And after that, we know how the conversation continues. So this scene from the book complements my understanding of that scene in the show. In the book, it's clear that Shane is the one gazing at Rozanov. At first, Rozanov isn't really interested. He was just taking a shower. But Shane's attention slowly pulls him in. And once Rozanov is interested, he does what he always does. He presses for more. In the show later, we see Shane hesitating. Should I ditch Rozanov? Should I not open the door? But what's interesting is that Rozanov has similar thoughts too. He wonders if he should go. But he likes doing things he knows are wrong, so he goes anyway. Ilya feels this pull, but at the same time, his rational part tells him that he should keep hating Hollander, as he put it for him. Yeah. But ever since that moment, sadly, Shane starts having this thought that he has to end things with Rozanov. Shane couldn't see a way that they could possibly keep this thing quiet. Another thing we didn't know about is how Shane was actually considered ending things with Rozanov. It's funny in a way, but also it's sad. So he thought he had 3 choices. Number 1, forget about men and stick to women. Number 2, risk finding another man, someone other than Rozanov. Or 3, keep things going with Rozanov and just try not to think about it. And even though the first option was the most sensible, Shane knew it was also the most unappealing to him. The heart wants what it wants, according to Selena Gomez, right? As you may remember, then they exchanged phone numbers, planning to meet later at Shane's place for something big. And guess what? Shane did it! He could stand up to Rozanov. When Ilya asked for his home address to come and do what they planned, Shane texted no to him. Yes! Yeah. He even said, it's not your business, so like, no. Yeah, then he actually changed his mind and they would meet. Just not at Shane's place, which is different from the show. Shane didn't want to let Ilya fully enter his life. And guess what? The first time it happened at a hotel. Shane rented a room. Yeah, it was a bit nicer in the show, but in the book, more realistic, I'd say. They are for real, like, strangers at the beginning. But as soon as Shane was in the same room with Rozanov, he completely lost himself. He couldn't even remember why it had seemed like a bad idea to be with him. Yeah, just like that. But after their intimacy, those thoughts came creeping back. Thoughts about finding someone other than Rozanov. In the early stages of their relationship, Shane told himself he just liked the process itself. Not that it was about Rozanov, it was just... he wasn't sure how to find other men to do it with. Later on, same thing keeps happening. The Las Vegas rooftop scene. We don't get much about Rozanov's family there. But yeah, Ilya tried to kiss Shane. And from a reader's perspective, Ilya felt actually so vulnerable in that moment. You're so sorry for him standing there on the rooftop alone. Yeah, he looked so down. So Shane, as in the show, pushed him away during the kiss because they were in public. And Rozanov left first. And Shane, he had the same thoughts in his head. He was going to end that stupid thing between them and just focus on the game. An interesting thing I didn't know, well, maybe you knew this, I didn't. Every time they parted, Ilya thought Shane was going to end their relationship, especially after summer break. So every time it's a summer break, Ilya was like, yeah, probably Shane would end it. So, revelation number 4, the shift. After the Las Vegas rooftop, it was pretty much the same in their dynamics. They met up at hotels or Shane's special condo or Ilya's place in Boston. Yeah, so Shane has been there more than once. Feelings kept growing, but they never talk about it until the tuna melt moment. So Shane was at Ilya's place, but this time it was different. Like after their intimacy, Ilya kept gazing at him, and then he asked Shane to stay after sex. That never happened before, but Shane liked it and he couldn't say no. And then Ilya cooked him a tuna melt and Shane was shocked. They had never done anything like this for each other. Shane just thought of all of this as hookups. And now Ilya asked him to stay, cooked for him, and later on the couch, he rested Shane's head on his shoulder. That was a lot for Shane. But the final straw, after sex on the couch, Ilya called Shane by his name. That never happened before. And that scared him. He'd been avoiding his feelings for so long, and now it seemed like either he or Ilya might say something. He ran away. Then Shane got together with Rose, and Ilya got jealous, as we know, right? What's interesting, the book says Ilya never really cared who dated who, but with Shane, he got jealous, he got vulnerable. He was even scared to text him after the games like they used to, afraid Shane would just say it's over. So he didn't text him at all. He was afraid. Ilya Rozanov was afraid. So after the game, Ilya goes to a club, as we know, and he runs into Shane with his girlfriend. It was actually a bit different from what we see in the show. Ilya started dancing with one of the girls and Shane saw him when he was about to leave. But he noticed Ilya, and even though he was in a relationship with Rose, he just stood there staring at Ilya. Yeah, Ilya was his Achilles heel. He couldn't just forget and move on. Then Ilya noticed Shane, and she left. Yeah. And Ilya, he didn't get the girl either. She was there with her boyfriend. They didn't communicate after that. And by then, Shane had settled with Rose. And then came the all-star game. The first time Shane and Ilya got to be on the same team. Finally. Before that, they were always put on opposing teams. That's when, in that bar, Shane comes up to Rozanov and starts talking to him. Ilya, at that moment, we know what's in his head. He expects Shane to say, "Let's end this, I'm engaged to Rose," etc. So Ilya is tense, he doesn't want that, but then release. Shane talks about his stylist. So Ilya feels relieved, and just like that, they exchange room numbers and they kept seeing each other, and then they share beautiful moments, they're bonding, they talk. Shane even supports Ilya when his father passed away, or maybe it was before, don't remember. We also get to learn a few things about Shane's personal life. So he wasn't quite shy, virgin the whole time. He had experience with girls before Ilya and with guys. Well, it was just some hookups like in Mexico and LA, but still, so in the show he's like, only you. No, well, he had some experience. All of this leads to a moment when Ilya feels he needs to end this relationship. He starts realizing he's feeling something, and he is brave enough to know that it's love. He doesn't want to name it for himself yet, but he knows what's coming. Yeah, and this video seems to be so long, so not to bore you, I will probably continue in the next one. So stay tuned. Ilya wants to end their relationship too, okay? See you.